Hi there everybody, this is modulistack, and I am bringing you another game from the StarCraft 2 class Reddit. This was submitted by Omeed, who is the blue Zerg in the lower left, and as the red Protoss in the upper right, we have Talleth. Now, this is going to be a little sillier probably than some of my other casts. I have gotten a chance to see some of this game, and there's some good, well, I'll just say there's some good dialogue that will go on in a bit. And I'm probably going to be making fun of these players quite a bit, so sorry if anybody gets their feelings hurt by that. Pylon going down here. This pylon placement does allow you to wall off with 3 buildings, I believe. Yes, it does. And I think that's just great. Omeed sending out his Overlord maybe to this corner, and sending out a very early scouting drone. I don't know why you need to scout so early. Some players do seem to like to do it, but this is a 2-player map, so you know where your opponent is. Probably scared of something like proxy gates. Those can be very frightening, and he's going to see that this pylon is in the right place, so no worries there. Going to get into a little fight with this probe. Running away. So Omeed probably looking about proxy gates, and we do see that he's getting his gas before his pool. My question for him is, would he have changed this at all if he had not seen a pylon? So would he have had a different reaction given what he scouted? And if not, I would say just scout a bit later, because it's going to be the same thing in the end anyhow. So he does see that the Protoss is not getting gas, which is really surprising, and I would expect to see a second gateway or a forge going down in a bit. Any time now. And he is getting a gas. So that's probably a mistake, but for the moment I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Cybernetic score going down. He may just want a pretty late gas, although I guess this cybernetic score was also a bit delayed. Oh, Zerg tries to steal the gas, is not going to be able to. In time, Zerg getting Zergling speed really fast. I do like this. But looking at the production, let's see, he is making 4 Zerglings. No expansion yet for Omeed, and this says to me he's probably going to go for some kind of big all-in early attack, or at least he should, because otherwise he's just wasting time before he actually makes his expansion. Second gateway has gone down for Talleth, who has realized that he has a lot of money that he needs to spend. 300 minerals now. Could even put down an additional gateway. Wouldn't mind that at all. Has gotten his second gas, and any minute now we'll start using that gas to purchase some kind of unit or technology that requires gas, and here it is. It is a Stargate. Notice that he's dead broke on gas right now. So Stargate is a little bit weird of a choice. He's still going to have trouble spending these minerals. So we are probably going to end up seeing a lot of Zealots out. Meantime, Zerglings moving out on the map. 10 Zerglings out already, and 2 more in production for the Zerg. Might even turn all of these larvae into Zerglings. Does so. So quite a lot of speed Zerglings are going to be out on the map. And this is a strategy that I like to call hoping that your opponent is bad. As we see, Talleth actually doesn't really have very good defenses right now against Zerglings. He's got this one Zealot here, which is in really good position, and he has been in really good position for far in advance of when he actually needed to be. But there's no ranged unit. You usually want a sentry or a stalker in the back to shoot at the Zerglings while they're here. And if there's going to be a lot, you kind of need a sentry to do some nice force fields and trap those Zerglings up here. Speaking of which, Omeed, if you do this, you're going to lose all these Zerglings if the Protoss player has a sentry and is paying attention, because he just puts down one force field. These are all trapped. The Zealots go out and feast on Zergling flesh, and it's not a pretty sight. So Omeed almost has enough to break this. A little bit risky, but he is going to have to pull back. And these are 22 Zerglings that could have been 11 drones. So really missing the chance to get that economic lead that Zergs love so much. Harvester tab, we see only 15 drones for Omeed, and 21 for a Protoss player. So distinct lead for the Protoss, although he is not making workers either. So that would be a pretty good thing for him to be doing, because It's not like he's short on minerals, so should be pumping a few into probes to get that economy going over the long term. If you don't think you're going to kill your opponent right away, then I definitely suggest building up an economy. This Void Ray is out. It was delayed for a bit because I believe he was supply blocked. But he's not going to send that Void Ray out. Instead, he's going to make a robotics facility and an observer and see what his opponent is doing before he sends this Void Ray out into any possible danger. In case somebody is not following my sarcasm, I would say that you should not build this robotics facility if you're going to make a Void Ray, because you should be harassing with this Void Ray, and that will give you information as to what the Zerg is doing. So you don't need an observer. Still a lot of Zerglings out. Seems like he has made some more drones, our Zerg player has, and indeed we are up to 22 drones now, so he has taken the economic lead, and he's getting an evolution chamber and a roach warren. I believe he did see the Void Ray, so he might be doing some kind of reaction to Stargate play in a moment. And there it is, Hydralisk Den going down. At the same time, Phoenix coming out. One Phoenix out, second Phoenix coming out. And a robotics bay going down. So Talleth is going to make one Void Ray and two Phoenix and go directly for Colossi and get a forge for some reason. So it's seeming a lot like Talleth does not really have a plan. And, okay, getting a Nexus, which is a good move. Maybe dangerous, but should be expanding at some point. Anyway, Talleth should think about working on actually planning ahead. What's the next step? What's the goal? What are you going to use these units for? Why are you making these particular units? Because then you can streamline this a lot. Like this Void Ray and these two Phoenixes don't seem to have done a lot for your plan of getting Colossi. So why not get Colossi directly instead of wasting a lot of time getting some units that aren't going to be that useful? Of course, Omeed does not realize how few units have come out of the Stargate, so he is putting down 2 Spore Crawlers per base as well as getting those Hydras out. So definitely throwing away a lot of money here, because these Spore Crawlers, these are each 75 minerals plus a drone. So that's 300 minerals and 4 drones that were expended to defend against an air attack that is never going to come. Actually, this kind of thing, if you just had 4 queens out, that would be plenty to deal with this kind of small force. But a few Hydras will do the job just fine. He's getting the +1 missile attack upgrade, which I like. He is continuing to not make harvesters, which I do not like. But Protoss not making harvesters either. They are at 20 and 23 harvesters. So, yeah. You guys should definitely make more of those, because they give you a return on your investment. Extended thermal lance being researched, and a second Colossus being chrono boosted out. So, who can say what he might be thinking of doing with these 2 Colossi? It's worth noting that he has almost no army. These 2 Colossi, it's very scary, and Zerg might be sort of overproducing units in fear of what could be coming out of the Protoss base. But you see, he really hasn't been able to get very many units out. I mean, yes, he got a Void Ray. Yes, he got a couple Phoenix. He's getting a couple Colossi. But his ground army is, you know, basically 4 Zealots at this point. Getting that +1 upgrade. Upgrades are good. Anyway, so it's important not to overreact to something like fast Colossus, because it comes at a big expense. Zerglings trying to poke in, but getting shoot off. The funny thing is, if there were twice as many Zerglings, you could almost engage this army, which sounds insane to use straight Zerglings to engage Zealot Sentry Colossus, but nevertheless, there are so few of them. If you're looking at the army tab, well, both players' armies are a bit small at this point, but Zerg definitely in the lead on the food count, and significantly more minerals invested in his units. The funny thing is, with such a low sentry count, Protoss is in really dangerous situation. Zerg can do a lot of really big busts to punish Protoss for that. And these sentries, they were very late, so they're really short on energy. He only has enough for like 2 force fields right now, or almost 3, which would not make that much of a difference if this army came in the door right now. No reaction yet from Zerg to the Colossi, though. And I would say that it's starting to get to the point Protoss is going to start to build up an army. He is getting some stalkers now. You really do want a Spire on the way by this point. And a little bit of trash talking here from Omeed. How is Protoss buffed? Oh, I bet he's talking about... No, he can't be talking about the Phoenix buff. That can't be what he means. Is he gonna, like, fill us in on which buff he's talking about? And this is also a good way to get a sense of what kind of position your opponent is in a game. If you just insult them randomly out of nowhere and see how upset they get, you can try to use that to guess whether they might have a hidden base or something like that. Okay, so he is complaining about how fast you can make Phoenix. Not sure why. There are only 2 Phoenixes out right now. I mean, I guess Zerg's lost a lot of Overlords to that. It was unfortunate, but really? Yeah, I don't see it being that big a deal that he was able to get these 2 Phoenix a little bit faster than he was able to get those 2 Phoenix before the patch. Looks like we might have an engagement here from the Protoss. A good force